Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, welcome. My name is Christos Kouras. I am the Director of International and Institutional Affairs of Enterprise Greece. And today I will walk you through this digital event organized by Enterprise Greece and Business France with the support of European Trade Promotion Organizations Association, with a topic which is quite relevant to most of us. We will actually try to identify practices that trade promotion organizations are implementing in order to tackle regional unevenness, which might be even more harsh in the wake of the COVID pandemic. Thank you all for your availability and attendance. Before I move quickly to the welcome remarks and introduce you to our first speakers, I will provide you with some practical information. First of all, the event is being recorded. Secondly, you are all welcome to actively participate in the Q&A chat room, which is located on your right hand of the screen, by submitting your questions or even comments throughout the event. I will be able to read them during the Q&A at the end only, and kindly remember to specify the speaker or speakers your question is addressed to. Finally, you can see the agenda and the short bio booklet of speakers in the middle top of your screen. And last but not least, all presentations will be sent out to you immediately after the end of the event. It is now my pleasure to introduce Ms. Betty Alexandropoulou. Betty is the Executive Director and member of the Board of Enterprise Greece, with huge experience in trade from diverse roles, both in the public and private sector. Betty, the floor is yours.
Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to welcome you here today on behalf of Enterprise Greece, and thank you all for joining us. We are delighted to co-host this important event with Business France and ETPOA, the European Trade Promotion Organizations Association, as mentioned before by Christos. Given our recent collaboration, I'm also particularly excited that Mr. Christophe Legion will present the report on best practices and proposals for options to be applied in Greece as a centerpiece of today's program. We were very happy to work closely with Business France and the JEDI team in support of the delivery of a critical set of recommendations for Greece and the transport of export promotion-related know-how at a regional level. These recommendations are based on a thorough and comparative study of good practices elsewhere in Europe. It is of great value for the purposes of our event today to see our colleagues from Italy, Spain, and Portugal joining us here, representing some of these good practices analyzed in the report. Last but not least, I would like to thank DG Reform for making all this happen. Their assistance goes beyond policy recommendations at the regional level. DG Reform has had a wider contribution towards our national export promotion strategy by helping us, especially at Enterprise Greece, design and implement projects such as the Export Help Desk, and the export promotion web platform, which we call Portal. Since July 2019, the overall trade and investment policy agenda has been going through a reform in Greece. The new government transferred all related agencies and departments under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in an effort to promote commercial diplomacy. So now Enterprise Greece falls under this new umbrella, serving an integrated strategy regarding target markets and export promotion priorities. Following this transition, the Trade Directorate within Enterprise Greece has gone through a reform as well. In particular, a reorganization took place which focused on the following: client-driven versus previously the event-driven focus, and a wider spectrum of services portfolio that addresses an expanded export base. This change enhanced our ability to move quickly so as to effectively address the challenges brought about by COVID. A set of digital tools and services and export promotion were launched in the first semester of 2020, demonstrating the organization's quick reflexes as an avalanche of cancellations and trade shows, missions, and events hit the global market. Just to mention a few numbers of what we were able to accomplish within 2020 following the above strategy and execution. We provided services to over 1,000 Greek export companies per each main category, namely information, training and consulting, promotion and networking. Interesting to note that 87% of these services were provided via digital tools. As you can see, Enterprise Greece has already marched ahead to the new era of change and reform. It is already proving that it has the capacity to innovate even during a period of a profound crisis. And for this, we are thankful to Business France and GIZ, whose recommendations came at the right time. 2021 is a year where we plan to continue on this path, scale up our services and our export-based reach. And all this leads to going regional as far as trade promotion is concerned. As the report mentions, Enterprise Greece's coordinating role is crucial. Our plan now is to forge ahead with a strategic partnership in all regions. Our priorities in this are a better mapping of the regional export base so as to assess comparative advantages and export potential of each region, the development of customized promotion and education programs, and events that will introduce and expand the above collaboration. In addition, for the regions, we will continue to tap on the flexibility and overall benefits that our digital tools provide. Just to mention a few examples of these, for example, the first one is new digital platforms, such as our piloted Export Manager offering. The e-Export Academy, which we launched just yesterday in collaboration with eBay, which is an integrated training program to assist companies on exporting B2C through e-commerce. And thirdly, the successful Doing Business in webinar series, which we run with our embassies and economic and commercial offices around the world, informing our export base on opportunities and challenges in strategic foreign markets. And there are many more examples. A very important one in terms of our regional strategy is our Sinergacia project, which mainly addressed investment promotion opportunities in the past and now may be used as a platform for trade as well. Vaso Kirkou will speak more on this later in today's program. Dear colleagues, there is no doubt we are experiencing unprecedented times at the global level. We, trade promotion agencies, have a commitment to our base to constantly evolve and innovate and provide with up-to-date services and tools our export base so that they can use it in order to grow globally. Sharing our experiences at the EU level is key. It is really important for us, EU member states, to share knowledge and experience in order to help our export base, our clients, become more efficient and overall European economy more competitive. We look forward to working closely with all of you on other common issues and topics and ultimately together take our TPO services and exports to the next level. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty, for your remarks. You mentioned already a milestone in the current discussions, which is the digital transformation. I think it's a goal where the regions already strive to attain, and maybe this unprecedented crisis and opportunity and the review trade policy communique, which was very recently published in the light of the COVID by the European Commission, can play a significant role in this. I would like now to introduce you all to the Chief Operating Officer of Business France, responsible for building real ecosystems, Team France Export, Mr. Henri Baissas. Mr. Baissas, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you for your invitation to participate to this webinar, and a particular thanks to the co-organizers, Christos Kouras from Enterprise Greece and Christophe Legillon from Business France. I will first say that trade is good. Trade is good for the health, for the prosperity of our companies. And we have seen in 2020, during this hectic year due to COVID, that companies, that businesses that are exposed to international trade have been more resilient. And even more resilient than those businesses have more than 30% of their turnover exposed to international trade. And as TPOs, we are on a mission. We are promoting growth of companies through export. And at Business France, we are utterly convinced that to do so, you need, of course, to have an international network. But above all, you need a network in your own country. Trade, export begins with your own territory, with the regions, and with proximity. And in France, we went through a big bang of the public export system. You will see it was quite complicated at the time. And 3 years ago, in 2018, this big bang was based on two main things: partnership, alliance, to put the resources in common, and proximity, to build a field, a network of export advisors across the country. And I'm going to highlight this big bang in my presentation later in the program. In this period of crisis, it is even more important to be close to the companies, to help them to position themselves on the export market. And I know that other European colleagues have also built very efficient export ecosystem. And this webinar will give us an excellent opportunity to learn more about many good practices. Finally, I would like to congratulate the cooperation that has been established between Enterprise Greece, between Greek institutions and Business France. This is really a fruitful collaboration has made it possible to identify and mobilize great European practice that we hope would inspire the Greek model. And it has also led to this webinar in collaboration with the European Association ETPOA, which can, we hope, also inspire many more protagonists. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Baissas. Indeed, you mentioned the word proximity. To me, it's a key word, very important in improving export capacity in the regions. And the network of export advisors in France seem to have worked very well. I'm eager to see if we will have more comments, if we will have any comments or questions regarding that towards the Q&A, to see if proximity has played similarly significant role in others' policies and practices. Now we will move on with a very brief overview of the Export Promotion Plus project, a project which was co-funded by the European Commission and the German Ministry of Economic Affairs and Energy, and implemented by GIZ in cooperation with DG Reform, which is aimed to empower transfer of export promotion know-how at regional level in Greece, and which was delivered by Business France. We have exquisite colleagues with us from Business France and GIZ who will outline the project that has been instrumental for our event today. It was actually the basis for that. So let's move on with my colleague Christophe Lézillon. Christophe is a project director in the International Cooperation Department of Business France, with long experience in capacity building projects all over the world. Christophe, you can take the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Christos. Yes, I will share my presentation to give you an highlight on just sharing. I hope you can see it now.
If we can have it in full screen.
Do you have it
perfect.
Now? Yeah, it's just the time to come. Okay, so I will go very quickly on the results that on the survey we did about some countries in Europe. And after that, my colleague Richard Epstein from GIZ will also speak more about the project in his own way. So first of all, we choose 8 countries with why these 8 countries? But because of different criteria, some with extended geographical territory to cover, of course, as it is about regions and export promotion in regions. So we have France, Italy, and Spain, and I'm very happy that our colleagues that we interviewed some months ago are here also today. We have also some countries who are more comparable to Greece in terms of population, like Sweden, Norway, or Ireland, and then even countries who are comparable both in size and population, like Austria and Portugal. Here are the 8 agencies that we surveyed. So Business France for France, ISEX for Spain, ICE for Italy, ICEP for Portugal, Business Sweden for Sweden, Norway, Innovation Norway, Enterprise Ireland in Ireland, and Advantage Austria in Austria. So what are the characteristics of these agencies? They are all public institutions, except one, Austria, which is the Chamber of Commerce. And then they are all well connected to foreign markets. They, most of them have their own offices abroad, usually located in the commercial service of their embassies. And the business model is highly subsidized. So some are 100% subsidized, like Portugal, Norway, and most of them are only partially subsidized, with either highly subsidized like Spain, Italy, or Ireland, or medium subsidized like France or Sweden. And even Austria receives some subvention for certain programs of what they are doing. So how do they organize? The trend is really to organize a one-stop shop in the regions to deliver information, to raise awareness about export, and to give some links to financial supports or export credit insurance. And these one-stop shops are organized through people, of course, through certain people that we call export advisor, and you find that in the many countries like Portugal, Norway, Ireland, France, Sweden. Maybe I forgot some, but I mean, just to give you that it's a big trend. And this proximity is organized in different ways. You have either a direct presence, so it means people really belonging to the central agency in the region, like Sweden, Norway, or Ireland. Or you can. Some countries are using partners, and like Austria and Italy, which is the regional or local chamber of commerce, and then they have some way also to collaborate. We will have the good practice of the flying desk explained by Italy later. You will see, and then you have also some mixed systems like France, where some employees of Business France are located in the Chamber of Commerce, mixed with employees of the Chamber of Commerce themselves. So they are all called export advisor, but they don't have the same employer. In Portugal, they have employees of ISEP within the innovation agencies, and in Spain also, it's different. Spain has regional offices, but they work in partnership with the local agency of the autonomias. So the main types of agencies, so I'll go quickly over that because you know you are all professionals. So it's mainly mobilize company to export, to analyze the profile of exporters and their needs, and then elaborate a portfolio of services to respond to these needs. And then, of course, go provide information on foreign markets to the companies and elaborate strategic plan for the export promotion as a whole for the country. And all of these are usually surrounded by key performance indicators to be able to measure the activity of the agency and the ecosystem, and also to measure the satisfaction of the clients. So what about the needs of the company? The company, they need simple tools. They need something clear. So the one-stop shop is something clear and easy, but they also need some simple tools for the promotion. And so there are different types of tools. One type is the online platforms, so where the people can get information or can train themselves. In France, we have the regional platform of solution. In Sweden, I will show you just after that, they have a nice way to present it as a roadmap, a subway roadmap. And we have also the example of Portugal Exporter. I'm sure that our colleague from Portugal is going to speak about later. Another type of a good practice close to the companies in the region is to organize export events, and that was also one of the the goal of our project with GIZ in Greece. This is so. Just to give you an example, on the left you can see the platform of solutions that you can find in France. It's specialized by region, and so a company can collect that, and then they can have some training about the different topics about exports, to create HR, an export team, or to get information about some markets or some information about funding or logistics. And you see on the right the map, the subway map of the Swedish agency, Business Sweden. So you have two, you have the yellow line and the blue line. So the blue line is shorter, so it's more for the more experienced companies. They don't need every stops to go through. And then the yellow line is going through more items and more topics for training. And it's I find it a very nice way to do that, to show. So just in conclusion, in these 8 models of European trade promotion agencies, we have 5 common pillars. The first one, as Henry mentioned earlier, is locality, proximity, to really have people very close to the companies. That's what we call export advisor. These export advisors are able to manage their own portfolio of companies, so to know them, and then and it makes something easy for companies. They know where to go, not too far from where they are located. The second thing is the coordination. And that's Betty mentioned that the strong mandate, the role of a central agency within the ecosystem is very important, especially in marketing, to know the clients in general, to organize the dialogue with the key partners, to make some markets to intelligent on foreign markets and deliver this information, and also to train the relevant staff involved in export support. So it's not only training their own staff, but also to train the other the people, the export advisor who would be coming from other partners, and then also to organize the specialization and expertise. The other pillars are the segmentation, to know who are the clients, customize the services, so to have a better service, more adapted to the clients and their specificity. The fourth one is digitalization, as we saw, to have tools so to help the companies to train themselves, to get the information, and also one thing is to have self-assessment solution to be able to assess oneself in their export capacity. And then last but not least, of course, it's the financing, the funding. So this is our agencies have to provide links with a relevant institution so that this fundamental problem is made the best way possible. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Christophe. I'm sure it has been illuminating to all of us in the audience to identify common characteristics and differences across trade promotion organizations. Again, to me, proximity is a key word, and it seems to be linked to many cases across Europe. As Mr. Baisas mentioned, and it seems very significant. But now let's continue with 2 representatives from GIZ, and more particularly, Ms. Marina Mois, Head of Unit EU Member States in the Regional Office of GIZ in Berlin, Germany. And she will be followed by Dr. Richard Epstein, the Project Manager. Thank you very much. The floor is yours.
Hello, I don't know if you can actually see me because the picture is frozen on my side. So
yes, thank you.
We are usually not working with Zoom, so I apologize if I'm technically not fully equipped today, but thank you for inviting me to this meeting. I'm heading the office, the regional office in Berlin since 2020. And this office is also supporting our cooperation with the EU member states. So in this frame, we are currently working in Greece and in Poland in the energy sector, as well as we have been supporting activities in Croatia, which are hopefully going to continue this year. We are also very happy that the technical support instrument was launched, and we are very excited about future cooperation in that field. For all of you who might not know GIZ that much, let me say some words about GIZ in general. We are a service provider in the field of international cooperation for sustainable development. That is very important for us, the sustainable development and international education work. And in this frame, we are working in 120 countries and mainly in the field of development cooperation. So the cooperation with the EU member states is a very exciting field, which we are very glad that we can support there. We are a federal enterprise, so we belong to the German government, and therefore we are very much committed to EU values. And that is including also transparency and accountability. These are things we stand for, and that's why we are in our projects always having this in our agenda. Maybe some fields, because we are not only working in economic issues, we are also working on displacement and migration, as well as environment and climate change. So we have been working with the Green Climate Fund on projects when it comes to climate change, security and reconstruction and peace. There are some major activities in Afghanistan in that field. Rural development, sustainable infrastructure, social development, governance, democracy, these are the fields where we are working in. I'm not the expert, so I would just hand over to Richard Epstein, who has been working for years in Greece. We are always open and happy to discuss ideas and to develop innovative approaches and to see how we can support and where we can work hand in hand. And thank you again for having me here. And I'm looking forward to hear further about what has happened so far. Thank you. And I hand over to you.
Hello to everybody. Oh, Christos, please, if you want.
No,
okay.
I just wanted to make sure that you can start directly. Thank you.
All right. Hello to everybody from my side. As it was said, my name is Richard Epstein. I was the responsible project manager for the project that was carried out and had the title Export Promotion in Greece. As it was mentioned, this project received funding both from the European Union and from the Federal German Ministry for Economic Affairs and Energy. It had two phases. I'm just going to lead you roughly through some of its highlights. Two phases. It started in 2017 already and ended implementation in October 2020. The main goals of these phases were three: to improve services for potential exporters in Greece, to contribute to the expansion of Greece's export base, which is comparably small compared to other EU member states, and of course to support the objective of increasing the export share of the GDP in Greece. The first phase had, just to guide you through some highlights, had a scope of, first of all, preparing an IT platform, which many of the European member state countries already have. Greece has partially a platform in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and partially a platform in Enterprise Greece. So the aim was to combine these platforms into an advanced one. We prepared the technical bulletin, tender documents, and so forth. And if I'm not wrong, this is now in the phase of being procured. Secondly, we developed, in cooperation with the International Trade Center in Geneva, an export potential map customized for Greece in order to allow both the authorities but also Greek companies to better target their markets and look at the sectors and possible developments of them in the view of potential exports. The third component was the development of an help desk for exporters in Enterprise Greece. Again, we prepared the presentation, the description of it, and the funding through European structural funds. And I think it is under implementation and already in place. Also, we gave some recommendations regarding educational matters that Greece could look into in view of training for exports. This is an ongoing process, as Betty Alexandropoulou mentioned also in the beginning. The second phase was focusing on market intelligence, was focusing on trying to establish for the Greek authorities a database for exporters. We mapped export champions. We mapped data sources out of which an exporter's register could be developed. Also, we had a work package in combination with the Export Credit Insurance Organization of Greece and looked at their restructuring and their enhancement of the role. I think this is in further operationalization with the Italian counterparts right now with STACE. And one component, and Christophe has also reported about it, was the component about the export in the regions, the transfer of export-related know-how, and also, again, enhancing the number of companies which are focusing on export and trying to mobilize more of them in the regions. Again, why was this chosen? And I'm coming back to the topic of today. First of all, we wanted to have the services for exporters and potential exporters improved and not only be centrally available in Athens. Secondly, we think that will be a good contribution to the expansion of the export base of Greece. And thirdly, within the first project phase, we had lots of workshops and discussions with private sector companies and organizations, and they also said that the expectation would be to be more connected regionally to information regarding export. We came up in combination with Christophe from Business France, which we assigned this part of our total project to and had an excellent cooperation with them. Along the good practices, which were also presented by Christophe, we were looking at what is going to be also presented in detail later on, export shops, the flying desk. So we really looked at what is suitable, and we adapted a custom-made, let's say, proposal for the Greek reality. And yeah, this is probably what I wanted to just roughly introduce to you. One thing or two things I would like to mention. First, within the project, we had the goal to also make a pilot implementation of what we have recommended as a mechanism for Greece. This was unfortunately not possible due to the pandemic, but I would encourage Enterprise Greece to look into that once it is possible again, to really pilot what we have proposed and then adapt. And you can always learn a lot from the pilot. And secondly, just a personal remark, I'm very happy to see that our project, beyond just giving recommendations in paper, has also contributed to a further proximity between the trade promotion agencies and specifically between Enterprise Greece and Business France, and also the other counterparts being present here today. And I'm very happy to see that and wish all the best luck to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this insightful information about the role of GIZ. First of all, the role that GIZ has in providing technical support across EU member states in order to reach sustainable development. as Ms. Moyes mentioned. Also great to have specific information on the mechanisms proposed for Greek export promotion, which I'm sure might be very relevant to our audience. It is my honor now to welcome Mr. Mario Nava, Director General for DG Reform of the European Commission. Mr. Nava has long served the European Commission from almost 30 years from various positions, including Commissioner's Cabinet, and also has been deeply involved in the academia. Mr. Nava, the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Christos. Thank you very much. I will start asking people not to necessarily mention 30 years, but maybe give me a small discount. But no, thank you very much to you all. My role today is, as it is mentioned, the one of policy insight. It means that I will build on everything you heard till now on the project, which I think was very clear, and to explain to you why this project is essential for us, makes lots of sense for us, because it basically allows us to connect the dots of three topics to which we are very, very attached, of course, which are cohesion, technical support, and trade. And I think Marina Moyes mentioned the attachment of the Gesellschaft für internationale Zusammenarbeit to the European values, and I think the European values here matter a lot. As a way of introduction, we don't need to recall what has happened in the last 12 months. Obviously, a thing which was essentially unexpected, although in many reports and papers there was some hints that this could happen, but essentially unexpected, has hit the world, has hit Europe. And the good thing is that has been the reply. As an economist, we all know that what matters is not only the shock, but the reply to the shock. And I think that the response that Europe put up to the shock was quite impressive. We started to go into uncharted areas, and we put together a macroeconomic response, which was very strong, which functioned extremely well in the markets. And indeed, the markets have taken a much less hit than the economy itself. But even the economy itself, if you have seen the very recent data of Q4 or our winter forecast, of course the hit is big, but it may be less than what we thought, exactly because of the ability to be resilient and to be adaptable. But essentially, what has happened is that the macroeconomic reply of Europe has been strong, as we said, the famous Recovery and Resilience Facility, 750 billion. But one thing we did learn in the last many years of work is that money alone is good, but is not optimal. In addition to money, what you need is knowledge, expertise, ability to do reform, ability to link into what makes people working and producing, because at the end of the day, that's what we are in. So I was saying this project allows us to connect three dots between cohesion, technical support, what DG Reform does, and trade. On cohesion, well, the point is very clear. My commissioner, Elisa Ferreira, said very clearly, the Recovery and Resilience Facility cannot be territorially blind. That means very clearly that we need to go down to the level of the different regions and the level of the different territories. We cannot imagine that Europe grows if in every country there is a part of the territory, big or small, and in some countries is rather big, which is somehow left behind. You know what we say, no one should be left behind, no region should be left behind. And this concept of being territorially aware of the RRF is quite essential, and the work you did with the regions together with GIZ and Business France and Enterprise Greece, I think that work has been quite important. The second point is the technical support. The technical support for Europe is a relatively new policy, new in the sense that, as you all know, we started in 2012 and 2013 with at that time it was called the Task Force Greece, which then was expanded to Cyprus, and we started there with doing territorial help, and we're doing technical support. And I thank you very much, Betty, for her words, for the way she has described the type of work we do. In time, it was very clear that there is no that the technical support is not indicated only for some countries or for other countries. In the last 3 years, all the 27 countries of Europe, from the most to the least prosperous, have requested and obtained technical support from us. The reason is very simple. The reason is that no matter how prosperous a country is, making reforms is always relatively complicated, because one of the main elements of reform is that the cost is today and the benefit is tomorrow. And the gap between today and tomorrow, the shorter it is, the easier it is for the reform to be accepted. But the larger it is, the bigger is the problem for the political acceptability of reform. So what we try to do, and again, I'm thankful to Betty for the way she has described it, but what we try to do is really to be an accelerator of the reform, to facilitate this kind of reform, which is necessary. The reform is owned by the member states, there is no doubt, but we act as an accelerator for this reform to be. I'm very happy to say that the Council, the European Council and the European Parliament have understood fully all this spirit. And as you may know, a week ago, on the 19th of February, the new technical support program, which is much larger, much bigger, and much longer than the one we had, and then the one that has financed the program we're discussing today, the new technical support program has entered finally in force on the 19th of February. And next week, stay tuned, we will do the TSI, this is called TSI, Technical Support Instruments, and next week we will do the TSI financing decision. The Commission will adopt it, we will do a press conference, and we will unveil a number of the projects that will be supported by the TSI. So I believe what you have done with this project today is to show really and in concrete how a project can change the life of the European citizens, can change the ability of producing value of European companies, and ultimately can do lots of well to Europe. And then I come to my third point, which is trade. Trade, as you know, European exclusive competence, as you know, one of the most important values of Europe. But also, if you do mathematics, or if you look at the dismal science of economics, Europe, just to give you two numbers actually, Europe produces 22% of the world GDP. However, because of the differences in the growth rates with other areas of the world, our contribution to the growth rate in the next few years is foreseen to be about 15%, the European contribution to the world growth rate. That means what? That means that 85% of the world growth rates comes from outside. And what is the way to hang on it? But you said it, that's trade. Trade is the way to hang on the 85% of the growth rate that will be in the next few years. Europe has a phenomenal advantage there, which is that we have, and we put at the disposal of our European citizen, as we have seen now during this crisis, the world's largest single market. We have the world's largest single market in purchasing power. We have 450 million consumers with an ability to purchase, which is the world's largest. And that the trade in the single market sustains over 36 million jobs. So that is absolutely essential. How do we intervene in trade? I will come now to what we did in Greece, but before that, just to show you that we do in different countries, we have done a project very recently here in Belgium, in this country, which became rather well known in Belgium, a project with the Flanders Investment and Trade Agency, where we have worked with them in order to improve their artificial intelligence. The project, which the consultants have helped us to roll on the ground, was so successful that the Flanders Investment Trade has really adopted artificial intelligence as one of their strategic priorities. As you may know, the Flanders Investment Trade is one of the most capillary investment trade agency in the world. It's present in 96 offices around the world. So artificial intelligence for them was absolutely essential. And in Greece, well, when we came to Greece and we work with you, we work with Business France, with GIZ, we realized what? We realized that, and you knew it, of course, the small and medium-sized companies were vastly underrepresented in global trade because of the difficulties that they exist. But we also realized, and this is crucial, that the Greek authorities had recognized these challenges. So in a way, people say, in order to solve a problem, you need first to identify the issue and the problem. And this was what we found very, very comforting. And everything we heard from Marina Moison, from Richard Epstein, I think goes exactly in this direction. And in particularly, we went for the development of tools. And two tools have been evoked. One is the digital platform, and the other is the help desk. Now, on the digital platform, as you know, the procurement is being launched, as Richard was saying. And on the help desk, well, the help desk is up and running. And if my numbers are correct, the help desk in 2020 has provided 932 companies with answers to specific queries, and nothing less than 77 customized advisory sections. This really connects the dots. This shows to you how, from a big policy, I started from trade, I started from the treaty exclusive competence of Europe, you go down to the life of ordinary citizens, to the small and medium enterprises that need to produce value, employment, growth out of that. So I believe this is quite important. We are also developing some specific action plans. So, for example, an action plan for Greek cosmetics, which are well known in the world, to penetrate the US market, and for Greek IT services to penetrate the German market. So I think this is quite interesting how we have been able to go down on the ground. I could go on for long, but allow me to stop, because I don't want to monopolize, and because I unfortunately need to rush to another event. But the final message is the following. All the work that has been done in Greece, in Cyprus, and in many countries in the last 8-9 years has been recognized fully by the European Council, so by all the member states of Europe, and the European Parliament. They have, with huge majority, adopted, actually unanimity in the Council, if we want to be precise, and very, very large majority in the Parliament. They have adopted the new technical support instrument. As I said, the new technical support instrument has much more money, is as long as we are able to plan, which are the 7 years of the MFF, of the multi-annual financial framework. And this is an instrument at your disposal. Use it well. We will be able to come and work with you and help with you in very many areas, going from trade to finance, to access to finance, to public finance management, to labor market, you name it. Thank you very much to you all for the great work that you do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nava, for the very optimistic message at the end, and for connecting the three dots of cohesion, technical support, and trade. It's actually very enlightening to hear the European Commission side the capacity building projects that DG Reform is implementing. The new TSI might be an extremely important opportunity for member states. And again, I'm keeping the key messages like green economy and digital transformation as key economic drivers in the post-COVID recovery at regional level. Hopefully, the next generation EU instrument of the European Commission will be instrumental towards this direction. Now let me rush quickly to the two organizers of today's event, Business France and Enterprise Greece, who will share their best practices on how they promote regional development. I will start with Vaso Kirkou, the Director General of Communications, Marketing and Stakeholders Relations of Enterprise Greece. She has a long-standing experience and expertise in how to create linkages and building stakeholder relations from a diverse background in Enterprise Greece and beyond. So thank you, Vaso. You can take the floor.
Good afternoon to all. My name, as Christos mentioned, is Vaso Kirkou. I'm the Director General of Communications, Marketing and Stakeholder Relations at Enterprise Greece. Our agency operates under the aegis of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and is mandated to promote Greek exports abroad and to attract FDI. In today's presentation, I would like to focus on two flagship tools that we use to maximize local impact and highlight regional potential for sustainable development and resilience. The Sinergacia Program has been one of our flagship activities for more than a decade now and has been adapted as a best practice across counterpart TPOs. Its aim is to showcase the advantages of the Greek regions and to highlight their significant untapped investment opportunities. Sinergacia is designed to promote close collaboration between Enterprise Greece and regional stakeholders in order to support local businesses to expand internationally. At the same time, we aim to enhance the export readiness of smaller enterprises through special workshops offered on the spot by Enterprise Greece experts. This process has facilitated the flow of market and business intelligence from Greek regions directly to foreign missions representatives. This in turn enables them to transmit the information to the business communities and government bodies in their respective countries. Sinergacia involves, first of all, the identification of each region's unique value proposition. Once you do that, our team will then initiate cooperation with the regional authorities in order to host a delegation comprised of foreign, commercial, and economic counselors. Its Sinergacia mission includes B2B meetings with local businesses, meetings with regional government representatives, and local business associations, and of course, on-site visits to local companies to create linkages and potentially build synergies. Our objective is to share the microeconomic and business profile of each region, along with its comparative advantages and local export products or services with multipliers who can help us spread the word that our regions are ready to do business. What have we achieved so far? Let's find out together. So what I can verify today is that, yes, we have actually been on a boat to an aquaculture unit. Yes, we have visited numerous wineries around Greece. And yes, we have seen many production lines around Greece as well. So after this short and cheerful video, I will continue by presenting the digitized version of Sinergacia. In September 2020, we adapted to the COVID-19 restrictions on travel and held our first digitized Sinergacia mission in the region of the Ionian Islands. The participation was actually very broad because this digital model gave us the opportunity to expand our audience to more partners who would otherwise not be able to join us. We invited the Greek trade attachés around the world, who additionally invited potential buyers, investors, and other business partners in the countries where they're based. The digital version of the program provided new opportunities for greater outreach. In the era of digital transformation and as a response to the challenges of COVID, Enterprise Greece has taken steps to further digitize services and tools. Among a range of digital initiatives, we created a new page on our website promoting our regions as business locations in an effort to help visitors choose the right one for their business. By providing the most relevant business and demographic data for each region, the Regional Compass can help you identify your new business location, link with the right partner, and at the same time, offer you an overview of each region's unique business profile. The Regional Compass works around 5 categories. In the demographics section, you can find each region's population and workforce compared to the country's total. Under economic activity, you can select variables for every economic sector of interest. In the association partner section, you will identify the ideal local business partner for you. Under the heading talent pool, you will find information on the educational level per region and compare it to the whole country's data. And finally, under the investment profile, you can discover the unique history and character of each Greek region. To show you how it works, I will take you on a short trip to Crete. If we can please open our website. Do help me out by clicking on the right side so that we can see. Thank you so much. As you can see, each profile is comprised of a quick overview of the region, available workforce stats, the pros of choosing that specific location, the available incentive investment, the investment incentives, and moves on to present concrete investment opportunities per sector of economic activity. Since I know that I'm running out of time, I will stop here. But before I do, I would like to, first of all, invite you to visit our website and take a virtual trip to our regions so that you can explore yourselves what the Greek regions have to offer. And at the same time, I would like to invite you to think outside of the box in finding your own economic diplomacy tool that will create awareness of your region to multipliers out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Vaso. Indeed, the project Sinergacia is about actually building synergies with the regions across a very diverse network of stakeholders and partners. And now I will quickly pass the baton again to Mr. Henri Baissas, Chief Operating Officer of Business France, in order to present us the Team France export. Mr. Baissas, the floor is yours. Thank you.
Thank you, Christos. A few insights about the ecosystem in France. The first obvious observation, the ecosystem was with far too many actors, and as a consequence, we had a lack of visibility. The response was the creation in 2018 of what we call the Team France Export. This Team France Export initiative is built on a clear governance and a simple organization. It's merely an alliance. It's a kind of merger, but without going to structural complexity of the core government partners, being Business France, the Chamber of Commerce, and BP France. You know, it's the public bank involved with all the financial tools for trade also. And so this alliance has allowed us to put in common the resource, and we will talk about that in a couple of minutes, has allowed us to build a strong network. We want also to share our clients' data in order to build a strong database. We implement a common CRM, Salesforce, and we share also a common target of to have more exporters and more exports. How is it really? This leads, you see, to a single window concept, meaning that I said that we had put in common the resource to build a global team. You see that global team in France and overseas. In France, it is you have now a little more than 200. We have 250 export advisors. They are composed of approximately 2/3 of those advisors are advisors coming from the Chamber of Commerce in France, and about 100 are coming from Business France. But now this export team is run as one team with the same tools, with the same offers, with the same database, and it's changed everything. And of course, we have that network overseas with more than 700 export advisors, mainly coming from Business France, but also coming from private representatives that are duly appointed. It is, and that's very important. It's now a reinforced governance. This is on the French soil. You have les régions. They have the political bodies in charge of economics, and it is very important that they are involved with that team. They are really locally aiding that team France Export and bringing some more financial tools to have that Team France Export effective. Abroad, of course, you have the French ambassadors, and at national level, we manage and we develop most of the tools with a co-management with Business France and the Chamber of Commerce in France. And it brings to, this leads to simplicity, to efficiency when we compare the situation we had before and the situation we have now. We have really managed to have different actors that used to be sometimes competitors to really work now with a common goal and as a common team with common tools and offers. We also worked on market segmentation. Christophe, you talk about that. It's quite important because we wanted to be able to give the right offer, the right solutions to the right companies. And basically, to put it in a nutshell, we segment in three parts. First, it's the big SMEs. We have about 10,000 big SMEs, and we have a special team. This special team of export advisors is located in the BPI France branch, so within the public bank, because for those companies, export development is highly connected to having also the right financial tools. So we are working closely together. And most of the companies, you see the 62,000 companies that are SMEs, we have this network with the Chamber of Commerce that is aiding, and it is at the working to advise those companies. And last, you have of course, many companies that export but not on a regular basis, or that are willing to export but cannot be easily identified. And so we work with those with our digital platform in order to give them the first answers with our digital platform, and then to give them a specific advisor if they need to implement a real action plan. So we work also on a method on simplifying the export path of a company, on specializing our team. Of course, our team in France is specialized with qualification of the need and preparation, structuration for export, building the action plan, and then our team abroad is working on prospection on priority markets. And then we also set some special partnership with the private sectors in order to be able to extend our offers with all the that the private sector can offer with lawyers, solicitors, with also being able to set up subsidiaries, all those services that are of great use. A little bit, a quick look at, as Christophe has formally mentioned, our digital platform. I will encourage you to have a look at teamfranceexport.fr. In fact, it's not one digital platform, because you have 14 regional platforms, because in association with the region, we have developed those platforms, and those platforms are, in the content is personalized for each region. And to finish, my last word will be on also being able to adapt our strategy to the context. And of course, the context right now is the recovery plan, and we have implemented a special export recovery plan. I will not go through all this plan, but just to highlight two main axes. One is to reinforce intelligence, I mean, information on the market, because it was one of the main requests to be able to have more visibility on the market. And the other is to give an incentive, a boost, to go back to the market, and that boost is what we call a chèque relance export. It's a recovery check. In fact, it's a check that can reduce the cost of prospection to half its price, and it has proved to be highly contracyclic. And we have right now multiplied by 2 our activities. In those times, it is not. It was not obvious to be able to do so, but thanks to those incentives, we have a very high activity with the French companies wanted to go back to conquest the market. Just to tell you that I'm afraid I will have to leave after this quick presentation, but hopefully Christophe will be fully able to answer all the questions you may have. Many thanks.
Thank you very much, Henri, and thank you for being here today with us. You mentioned adaptability. What else for trade promotion organizations than adaptability? And of course, you also mentioned visibility and the concept of a single window for information, which is highly important, I think, for the regions and for the companies to have a single point of information. It's so important. And now I'm moving on with the pitching of 3 different and very interesting practices, which we will hear one after the other non-stop. We will start with AISBL and Helena Carvalho, Director for Digital, with a long career in various posts. We will present the Portugal Exporta program. Then we will move on to IFEX and Jose Antonio Bretones Cordero, Director of Initiation, Implementation, and Business Cooperation, again with various posts and a long service of which at least 10 years beyond the European borders. We will explain how a long-term support for Spanish SMEs through private consultants and EFEX experts can be established. And last but not least, we will finish with ITA's Export Flying Desk and Ferdinando Coeli, project coordinator of Export Flying Desks at the marketing department of the Italian Trade Agency, with very diverse experience and background across the globe, who will explain how they supported Italian companies. So, Helena, you can start. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your kind invitation. Well, I'm Helena Carvalho. I work at AISBL as a digital transformation responsible and linked with communication as well, because new channels are used to communicate to our main clients. 3 years ago, we had a huge pressure to make exports more significant. And that is our mission. And we believe that we can help companies to export and expand their business in new markets. But 3 years ago, this was something like an impossible mission almost. I would say that we had client service that was prepared to do business as usual. But 15,000 companies were too much for the team, and they could not absolutely do anything else but business as usual. So we had to take a look at our portfolio of products and services. And at the same time, let's see if I can put it in full screen. Yes. At the same time, take a look at our resources and at the needs of all our stakeholders. And we have more than 120 stakeholders, completely different. We called people around. We talked to all our institutional partners. We decided to check with specialists, with people that were used to do some design thinking, with associations of companies and sectors. And we co-created this new idea that would multiply our ability to answer all the daily questions of the Portuguese entrepreneurs. Basically, what we knew was that we have to have a method and to communicate it in a very efficient way. So new concepts for a new business model at AISBL as well, because we weren't used to do things this way. Tell companies to make a diagnostic, to have a self-assessment, know yourself, then have a method. You have to plan it. After knowing your profile, you have to choose a market, prepare yourself, training, and have a soft landing with our help and support. And at last, have a plan that is built with us, with our products and services, and with our training online. And the online part is very important because you realize that 98% of Portuguese companies are small companies, very micro companies, okay? So all the rest, which makes a difference in exports, is hardly prepared, and only a narrow band is really prepared for export. We had to treat the broadband, if you may think it as a broadband, in a different way, but we have to give all the tools so they could start their plan, make a diagnostic, start their plan before they come to us, because we don't have the human resources to give a full consultancy from the very beginning. So in one hand, we have a customer journey, which is made of 4 steps: initiation, development, acceleration, and support. And we only can help them really with human resources in a more personalized consultancy on acceleration. The first two steps should be completely digital based. So we started working on that platform with a huge role on artificial intelligence. And we developed several models. The first one was segmentation, of course, and having a precise profile of our clients. And with that profile, having a precise profile of the potential markets they were going to, or they were in and wanted to expand. And with those two big informations, we could build on and evaluate with a model as well the potential of exports of our companies. And with that potential and crossing all the information, we could make the risk almost non-existent. So, and that was a main factor, and that is still a main factor, lowering the exports risk. The new platform is already on, is now getting traction, and is based on empowerment, proactivity, customization, and rating. Empowerment, giving them a self-service tools. Proactivity, because it suggests new things and new hypotheses, and it's completely relevant for each company inside of a segment. And it gives us back information from the companies, and can have a rating of the suggestions we are giving them. This is based on interoperability, data sharing, and models. We have a huge data lake with national and international information that is treated, and we have a source relating work in the back office. It makes some knowledge products, new knowledge products that are relevant for the needs of our clients, crossing information, and it generates insights that help us producing new products and services on the path, on the roadmap for exports. And this is feeding the learning of our intelligent machine, of course, in order to expand this to new projects like the Tinder that we are building to match Portuguese offer with international buying. So it's a new trade platform that will match these two, and it will match also Portuguese offer that is complementary and can form an ecosystem of international offer. After that, we will cross it also with our new pillar, which is the investment portal, of course, because we have potential customers there that can cross information to have more promising exports future. If you want to have a glimpse at what is going on inside the platform, I would ask them to launch the video so that you can see what's happening. Thank you.
For a small country with an open economy, exports are a paramount necessity. To export, we have the companies. To inform, support and advise these companies about the best way to approach foreign markets, we have AISBL. To achieve this goal, AISBL has devised a new strategy, one of digital transformation, adapted to the age we live in and to the technologies around us. It is within this transformation that we present a new digital platform that brings AISBL closer to businesses, the new Portugal Exporta. Here you will find the colors of our country's land and sea in a light and fluid design, easy to navigate on all devices. The content is designed to present AISBL's offer clearly and intuitively, and because every business is unique, you will be able to log in to a restricted personal area, My AISBL, where you will find tailored content and customized tools which will guide you throughout your internationalization process. Here, you will find new business opportunities, the latest news on your business sector, and an event calendar specifically catered for you. You will also find suggestions for new markets and customized action plans to best approach and engage them, as well as alerts and notifications so you never miss an incentive program. Soon we will go even further with a new business matchmaking platform. We don't want to build just a new website on a digital landscape. We want to create a digital meeting point for Portuguese companies to find and engage with compatible and willing international business partners so that our companies can reach the world more efficiently with growing ease and success. Portugal Exporta, the new pathway to the world.
Well, thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much to Enterprise Greece and Business France for the organization of this digital event. My directions is inside international operations in IFEC, but we deal with company requests according to the level of maturity in their internationalization process, not according to the sectoral belonging. So this is my second time in IFEX, and in between I've been a trade commissioner in the Economic and Commercial Office in Ho Chi Minh City and in New Delhi. So I would like to share with you our experience with the program we have for the initiating companies to exports and to make them grow abroad and consolidate their presence abroad. And to give you some context, I need to provide you with a few slides of our corporate presentation of my TPO ethics. So, but with the part that remains of values and our mission. As you know, we are a TPO that is responsible for the internationalization of the Spanish economy, not only the Spanish companies. So we have some programs for the training of professionals and also to support the attraction of FDI to Spain. We are 600 professionals that share a number of values. We have lost a few because of COVID, and my remembrance and appreciation for all of them. And we are in close contact with companies because of the local network that we have, but also abroad. We have something like 1,000 Spanish economic and commercial offices abroad. So I would like to share with you our experience with this program, IFEX. We have a very long experience dealing with companies willing to initiate and consolidate their export abroad for something like 14 years, from the year 1997 to the year 2012. We've been dealing something like 9,000 companies to initiate their exports abroad. At that time, we share responsibility with the Chamber of Commerce and with the regional governments, but that collaboration stopped that year, and from that year on, we just do it ourselves. And our program has three main traits we would like to share with you. First is that it is impact-oriented, and we want to have a durable impact by provoking a strategic reflection for the company with a private consultant with the expertise to do so before they implement the operational plan. Then it is picky. This program is not for all the companies, but only for those that have the capacity and the ambition to look at the foreign markets. And in this sense, those companies that don't have the intangibles that we appreciate or the capacity to invest and to cover those sunk costs that you need just to be successful abroad. We have other options in IFEX and in Spain just to redirect those companies. And finally, and that's the reason we use the blue color. Our program tried to be fresher and more flexible for company. They have this consulting at the beginning, but then we provide them with an economic support. It may range from 10,000 euros to 20,000 euros. It depends on the budget and the year, and they can make expenses in promotional activities, prospection of foreign markets, the development of the commercial network abroad, and also the enlargement of their international departments. They make the payments, and then we are quite flexible and fast just to pay a percentage of that amount. So the main characteristic of our program is that to provide that flexibility to the company, we need to have a hell of coordination with so many partners inside and outside ethics. We have something like 31 branch office managers that gives you the proximity to the company. We have something like 200 strategic and specialized consultant, and that needs to be coordinated from headquarters. We have 9 people here in IFES taking care of the program, and in a number of destinations we have advisors, 11 of them, market analysts, and a number of service providers. We just offered to the companies participating in the program, and we also need to have dedicated auditors and to coordinate with IT and with different department in IFEX just to implement the program: legal, finance, communication, marketing, etc. The results of the program has been very good according to our internal revision and evaluation. It has a very relevant impact concerning the growth of exports, both in the short term and in the long term. A very good conversion rate for those companies that export occasionally to those that do it on a regular basis, providing a good structure and a good strategy behind that situation. And because of that, we think that the program has been value for money all this time, generating a number of public resources because of the new added value at the domestic level that the new export has created. Even though the Ministry of Finance decided 2 years ago that the program needs to be fully incorporated the general law of subsidies, not only the general principles and those provisions for publicity and transparency, but all the procedures of the law. And we had to do a compromise in order to maintain the essence of the program. The first thing we had to decide was to go for a competitive concurrence procedure, and not to let only a situation where the companies in a first come, first go, provided they comply with the requirements, may enter the programs. Because of this procedure, we cannot maintain the program open the 12 months of the year for the solicitants, but only certain months of the year. As you see, for the year 2021 to 2022 is going to be open 4 times. We have 4 windows there in February, May, September, and December. The second thing is that our operational workflow has been completely transformed. It is, the level of stringency now is much higher, both for the companies, but also for us. We need to take very care of the timing, the dates, the procedure, the rights of the applicants, and not to have any kind of overlapping between the 4 different phases of the procedure. But also the companies, they need to provide us with all the information in advance, and they take the risk, even if they pass and approve the evaluation, just to take part of a waiting list till we have the capacity just to include them in the program. Because of this stringency for both parties, we are now much more rigorous, taking care of the whole program, and we have incorporated the digital transformation just to take care of the program and to avoid any kind of mistakes with our companies. But thank you to this new procedure, we are now able just to have a much better information of everything that happens with our companies. And the third thing that has provoked the new situation is that we have changed our focus. Before, it was kind of handicraft, a very artisan way of do things. We worked too much on the relationship with the companies, trying to make them grow. Now, with this competition system, we cannot have the focus there anymore. But with this conversion funnel that you will create immediately because of the procedure and the competition, we focus on the top and down there. On the top, in the sense that we are much more proactive to look for new companies to enter the program, because we want to have with us the best value proposal and to make them even better. And down the project, when they sign the addition letter, and they are with us working for 24 months now, and providing them better conditions and better contents in order to reinforce their intangible, especially. Well, this is now our new philosophy. We have plenty of questions. We are only able just to have and to figure out a few of them. We are thinking of how to include more startups in the system, how to better check the strategy, how to get digital transformation, solvency, networking. There we're having problems now because of the COVID. I mean, digital doesn't allow us just to reinforce the networking that we would like to. And we also have taken care of Brexit. I mean, here there are a number of issues we are thinking of, we are focusing here, but the main strategy and the main philosophy is the one that I've shared with you in the last minute. Thank you so much.
So, good afternoon, and thank you to Enterprise Greece and to Business France for organizing this event, which has been a great opportunity for exchanging practices. I think is a really valuable opportunity. Being the last is always an advantage, a disadvantage at the same time. So I try to focus on the first side of the problem, and I try to be quite quick, so we can go to the next slide. And okay, this is my name. I am the coordinator of this project under the marketing department of the Italian Trade Agency. And so next, we can see, okay, a very quick overview of who we are. No need to say that we are a trade promotion agency, just to focus on our 5 so-called pillars of our action, which are information, assistance, consulting, promotion, and training services for fulfilling our mission, which is, of course, promoting Italian business and made in Italy in the world. Next, okay, this is our worldwide network. At the moment, we have 79 offices in 65 countries. And now we operate under the umbrella of the Ministry for Foreign Affairs since last year. It was an important change in our governance. Okay, and today I would like to focus, as it was already announced, on the Export Flying Desk project. The next slide. Okay, and next. This is a new project. Just I give you a very brief historical background. Almost 10 years ago, our organization underwent a restructuring moment. So at that time, we had a network of regional offices in all the 20 Italian regions. After the restructuring, also due to spending review issues, we have lost all those offices, excepting Rome and Milan, which are still there. Of course, Rome is the headquarters. So since that time, we started to come back and to have a closer relation in the regional territories, especially in Italy. As you probably know, we have a wide diversity of economic background in different territories. So the close contact with the territories is really fundamental in fulfilling our mission, as it has been already highlighted, and I'm happy to know that also it's the same approach all over Europe. After a few experiences in the years before, for example, road show we organize for moving throughout the country with single event in different parts of the country, we decided to make it more stable, this approach. So the export flying desk was born, and in October 2019 we started this new project. We have a dedicated team of our own colleagues at ITA, which are called experts, and they are. So why is flying? Because it is not a permanent desk, but is flying, especially before the pandemic emergency. Those experts were moving once a week in a single region, in each region, and they organize an agenda of individual meetings with Italian companies. Of course, the project was promoted through our different channels, including social media and regional partners. So companies interested, they may apply online. We have a registration process through our website. And as soon as they are registered, our regional team contact companies and they fix the appointment according to a weekly meeting agenda. After the pandemic, well, sorry that just in this moment we have the ambulance going. I cannot avoid this noise. Okay, so after the pandemic emergency, we started. We wanted to continue this project. Of course, it was impossible moving to the single regions, but we decided to continue through remote meetings. And honestly, we realized that this move was a really smart move, because we even see an increase of the number of companies applying for meetings. Because sometimes if they have to reach a city in a specific region, they still have to move, and this way it's much more simple. Of course, we hope the pandemic emergency will have an end soon, so we can come back to have our meetings in the region, in the territories. Let's go. Another important point, in the three major southern regions, as you know, in Italy, the south of Italy usually is focus, is a target for specific, developing actions. So we decided in these three major regions, which are Campania, Apulia, and Sicily, to increase the meetings with bi-weekly meetings. So we give them 2 days a week opportunity to meet our experts. Let's go to the next slide, which is also the last one. Okay, so a few figures after 1 year and a half, a little bit less than 1 year and a half of this program. So at the moment we have 21 desks in 20 regions. Why one more? Because there is a region which is in the far northeast of Italy, Trentino Alto Adige, where we have an area with a German-speaking minority population. So in this area there is a province with a special autonomy, and we decided to have a special desk dedicated only to this province in Bolzano. And for the rest, we have one desk on each region. In Rome and Milan, we have, of course, taken advantages of our facilities, our offices. In the other 18 regions, we established a partnership with local entities, and there is quite a variety of partnership. Is not always the same. Sometimes they are local chamber of commerce, sometimes they are local branches of National Industrial Association. The most famous in Italy is Confindustria. Or we also have a partnership, which is also very important for providing companies specific assistance, with the Italian credit insurance bank, which is SACE, and also with the Italian Development Bank, Merchant Bank for Investment Abroad, which is SIMEST. They are also our partners in this project, and sometimes they attend the meetings along with our experts. In total, we have done so far more than 2,000 individual meetings with more than 2,000 Italian. Of course, the companies usually approaching this program are small and medium enterprise, and they are at the beginning stage of their international development. They are not regular exporters. And so our consultancy, first stop consultancy is very important for them in order to get orientation, to understand which are the tools and services they can utilize in order to go ahead with their international development process. So we try to provide each company specific custom-made assistance. And of course, we take advantage of our offices abroad in order to channel them to the right market and to the right service they need. We have been touching before the emergency, of course, before the pandemic emergency, we have been touching 31 cities in total. And we have at the moment 52 experts. They are all regular officers in service in our headquarters, plus another 4 people, including myself, that they are in the coordination unit. So we take care of the monitoring, supporting our teams, and developing regional partnership. At the moment, we have 27 partners, but we are trying to expand more the partnership in the territory. Okay, so this just, I hope, has been a quite exhaustive overview. We believe this strategy will pay off in the long term and to increase our export base nationwide. And so next, the last slide is just to thank you and to give you a couple of links if you want to know more about this project. Thank you again, and see you soon.
Thank you very much, Helena, Jose Antonio, and Ferdinando, for the very interesting initiatives and practices, which I'm sure can be quite interesting for the audience. And now it is high time we started with a Q&A. I will try to summarize in order to respect the considerable time constraints. We have 10 minutes left. I will urge you as speakers to be brief and concise in your responses and to raise your hand if you want to take the floor, because the questions are addressed to all of you. So depending on who wants to take the floor, we can do it like that. So the first question is that digital transformation was mentioned several times throughout the event today. And as I said, I would address this question to all of you. Which are the most important barriers in the efforts for digital transformation, not only for the companies and the SMEs that you work with, but also internally in your trade promotion organizations, institutions, let's say. So governance-wise, is it employee pushback? Is it lack of expertise, or the lack of a more global, let's say, decision internally on pushing forward the digital transformation of your services? Is anybody who wants to take the floor? I can see maybe. Yes?
Yes.
Well,
well, first of all, our experience has been very clear that digital transformation is a transformation, a business transformation that by accident is digital. The main point is that what we have to change is our mindset, the way we do things, do them differently, do them more relevantly and adequate to the needs of our customers and our internal needs as well. Internal culture is the main obstacle. And that takes time to change, but it's not impossible. It's a pollinization process. We are bees. We drop pollen in the several areas. We have our power users that will propagate new practices, new ways of doing things, new ways of thinking, and that will give some fruits, hopefully.
Thank you, Helena.
Maybe I can say something.
Mindset.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Christophe, no, it's Christophe here from Business France.
Yes, Christophe, yes.
I can add something. Well, for us, well, there are two parts. Of course, there is digitalization of our own, our own services. So the website of Business France. But here you have seen that one of our major tool was to have the platforms of solutions. And Henri, by side, show you that we have 14 different versions because we have 14 regions, and we had to adapt to the platforms to everyone. So it was a huge. So there was a challenge of decided what we want to show, but then also to discuss with the partners to who wants to be in and where to go, because of course our agency is not doing everything. So if you need certain type of advice, or if you need something about logistics, if you need something about law, you need to have a partner who will able to give the answer locally in the regions. So that was a huge, at the beginning, we didn't really imagine that, this part of the job, the huge job of coordination, identifying the partners, discussing with them, having the content, and finally to bring the final solution. So that has to be taken into consideration.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Christophe.
If I may add, Christo,
yes,
another
yes.
thing, it wasn't only an issue in our case of coordination, it was also an issue of stakeholder engagement as well. If you are a small country like Greece and you do not have trade and investment promotion agencies at the regions, you need to be able to have a close collaboration with all the regions on a real-time basis, actually, I would say, in order to be able to support them as the state trade promotion agency to promote their regions. I don't think that it was a matter of digitalization as much as engaging the right stakeholders in the process of all of us working together towards a common goal, I would say.
Thank you. Thank you, Vaso. Is there anybody else from the speakers who would like to add something before I pass to another question? Okay. It seems that like most of you who made the presentations today are working very closely with a very broad network of many provincial or regional offices and offices all over the world, offices abroad. So it seems to be quite a challenge to coordinate all this diverse ecosystem in order to be successful and effective. So what are the main challenges in coordinating such a big and broad network of offices, experts, advisors all over your regions, and so on?
Yes, maybe I can say something on this point, which is very, stimulating in our case. As I mentioned before, the diversity of the Italian regions and the diversity of partners in each region, because we have, many different players at regional and sometimes even at sub-regional level. So we are, at the moment, our approach is to leverage diversity as an advantage, not as a problem, as an obstacle. And so we are designing activities, cooperation with each partner in a different way. I am happy also that my French colleagues I have the same approach, and it's very interesting the way they developed the regional platform. We are not at the moment. We have not developed such a tool. We have another digital tool I didn't talk about today. It was the export.gov portal, but it's not on a regional level. But at regional level, we are trying to design activities according to the needs of the territory. And so sometimes those activities are different in terms of contents, in terms of approach, in terms of the way we perform. And so this is something that at the end we are trying to turning it into an opportunity rather than an obstacle, rather than a problem.
Thank you very much. I have a question which touches upon what you just mentioned. You mentioned this, let's say, how difficult it is to provide this individualized approach and assistance depending on the region, because obviously all regions are not the same. They have very different profiles, different needs. How easy is it to adapt your services to each different region? Ferdinando, you can either take this question as you mentioned that, or anybody else, of course.
I don't want to take too much the floor to the others. I just reply you with three key words: time, patience, and energy. These are in my opinion, are the receipt. And of course, to be very cooperative with the other partners and not seeing them as a potential competitor or as a, focus more on the what is bringing us together rather than differences also in culture that we have, of course, but we are trying to overcome.
Thank you, Christophe.
Michael. Yes, what I can say is it's a real challenge. Yeah, that's right. What we mentioned is we choose actually to switch to put some business France people in the region, as André Bessas told you, and to have these people within the Chamber of Commerce. So why did we do that? Because it's not just for the pleasure to have business France employees deployed. It's really to have a mix of culture. Because if we just work with the partners, then you have in one Chamber of Commerce in the east of France, they have a different way of working with the one in the north of France or in the south of France or in the west of France. So we need to have a common culture. And the only way to do that is to have someone who have already this culture, and then someone who's coming from Business France. So that's that's why we made the mix of teams. So in every regional Chamber of Commerce on the territory, we had some people from Business France, so that they mix together, they work together, and after 1-2 years, then everybody is working in the same direction. So that's the way. That was a big challenge actually, and we choose to specialize, to have only to have 4 families, sectoral families, industry, technology and services, agro-food, and consumer items. So every export advisor is specialized in one of these 4 families, and then they have a more ability to speak to the companies because they know more about this sector, and it's easier for them to speak with the companies they are looking after.
Thank you, Christophe. Yes,
if I may add, for a small agency like ourselves, the way we handle the way we approach the issue of stakeholder networking is by dividing them into smaller groups. We do not have enough people in order to be able to have Enterprise Greece employees at all regions, although that sounds like an attractive idea, which may be worthwhile to explore further. But for the time being, what we have done is, depending on the stakeholder needs, and on our own targets, we have divided them into bigger groups. So we have an international network, stakeholders network, a national stakeholder networks, and a local stakeholder networks. And we try to manage all three networks within Enterprise Greece by a dedicated team that follows through very closely. As far as what we have done so far, okay, because we do acknowledge that there's a long way forward. We do have a lot of things to do as far as regional promotion, trade promotion is concerned. But I think that if you're a small agency, the only way you can handle that is by actually breaking down those groups into the stakeholders, into smaller groups in order to be able to manage them and dedicate a person to actually follow through and with them on a regular basis.
Thank you, Vaso. I have a final question, which is particularly focused on business fronts. So Christophe, it will be for you. It's a very long question. It's got comments as well, so I will read it as quickly as possible. It has to do with proximity to the client, a vast network of representing offices around the globe. I agree, as our participant in the audience mentions, I agree this is an optimal way to foster and facilitate and promote trade. However, this also goes with a considerable budgetary commitment or investment of public resources. It's true. If trade flows are considerable and growing fast, this public investment pays off well. However, considering the relative small export base Greece currently has, to what extent should Greece build such an extensive public infrastructure, both within its national borders as well as across the globe? Would a stepwise approach be appropriate? Start the national and international network where export potential is the greatest and where government interventions pays off, then expanding on once exports increase over time. I can see that it's signed as well. It's by RVO, by Robert Brouwer, project manager, and Annelies Dross, technical lead from Netherlands RVO.
Yeah, what I could say that so the question is for Greece, for the case of Greece. So in Greece, actually, you have already, well, the sectoral agency, Enterprise Greece, you have already the network abroad with the commercial attaché in the embassies. And then you have also an ecosystems in the regions. So it's a little bit of everything. So it's a kind of it's just a way to link all these partners. So you don't, of course, you don't have the resources maybe to put something, some of your own people in all the region, or maybe just in northern Macedonia, where you have already a few people. It will be a little bit like the case of Italy, actually. That's what I was, pointing out, the good experience of Italy. They have also 2 offices, and then they reach out the companies through their digital tools and through their flying desks. They organize to send some people in this region regularly, so that the companies can meet and develop themselves, but without having an extensive network of people on the ground. So this has to be organized with a local partner who would host the flying desk when they are coming, and maybe to organize, to be closer to the companies. But that's also quite feasible, I think, in Greece, with not too much of a financial burden. In France, okay, it looks like a kind of a rich solution to have spread some people from business funds in the region. But of course, we have a public agency, so our level of employees is not allowed to be changing too much. So we had actually to downsize our foreign network so that we could put more people into the region. So that's why we had to close some certain offices abroad. We had to pass over to other partners like Chamber of Commerce in Singapore, in Hong Kong, or different countries. So we had to make kind of balance in order to implement this new strategy. I hope I could understand.
I think it's. I think it. You gave the answers to this question. I think it's quite clear to me, at least.
That's why it was very interesting to see all the good practices, because obviously you see that this one from Italy, it could be very good example for Greece, and then the one of Portugal with their program, where their base is also quite interesting. ISEX next with a specific program organized along the months is also a very good example. So that's we can take good practices from different places.
Thank you, Christoph. I think that at this point, if nobody else has any comment to make, I would like to thank you all for making this event a reality. I highly appreciate the participation of you, our esteemed speakers, your teams, and of course, all of you who participated as an audience. I do hope this event gave you the opportunity to reflect on ways and informed decisions that need to be taken in order to lead our regions to a swift and sustainable recovery, where to me at least, and not to me only, trade seems to be a key driver of growth. As the razor-sharp repercussions of the pandemic make it more urgent than ever before, and trade promotion organizations can play a vital role in building strong and resilient ecosystems. Thank you very much again for your participation, and hopefully we will be able to meet again under different circumstances in the previous traditional models of face-to-face meetings. Stay safe and see you very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, okay.
Bye.
Thank you, Christos.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you all.